One time I even argued with the dad. I argued with the dad and his son. And it was, girl, it was crazy. Like literally
And the
the son
son?
was sitting next to me. The son was sitting next to me. And we were talking. Like I was like, oh, this is cool. Like, nice little powwow. Then I'm sitting next to this family. They knew who my brother was.
Yeah.
And because he went to Sierra Canyons, like it was like a big school, there was a lot of
Right.
cameras, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
So then all of a sudden, the little boy next to me turns around and goes, "Number 3 sucks."
Ooh,
And I said, I literally looked around like,
I know you're not talking to me.
who is he talking about? I'm looking on the corner, like, maybe he's talking about the other team. So then the dad, grown man. Yeah, he ain't nothing but a crybaby. He ain't nothing but a crybaby. And I was like, I turned around, I said, is he crying? I said, I don't think he's crying. I said, I don't see him crying. And then me and the dad are going back and forth, back and forth. And I looked at the son. I said, do you play basketball? He said, yeah. I said, well, I think you suck.
Oh, God.
And then he got up and left.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Do I Know You? The very best talk show on the internet, on TV. Yeah, we're speaking that into existence, period. Just in any medium, we're really doing the thing over here. I cannot thank you guys enough for tuning in this week. Let's get into it. Y'all, today I'm bringing you my friend Aysia Boston. She is a star. She is so sweet. And honestly, my kindred spirit. I feel like every guest has been truly just a reflection of things I would say. But y'all, I'm sorry. It just shows how universal this life really is. But I'm so excited for y'all to hear from her. She has a very unique perspective, and you'll see why shortly as you get into the interview. Her brother is Brandon Boston, he's had a lot of basketball success. He's played at Sierra Canyon in high school. He played at UK, and now he plays with the LA Clippers. Very successful basketball player, seems like a really awesome person, but who I'm really interested in getting to know is Aysia for all the reasons, for all the things y'all know by now. So I cannot wait for y'all to tap into this. We talk a lot about, honestly, she kind of spoke a word in the middle of the whole thing. You know what? Not me spoiling. I'm gonna just let y'all watch. I'm gonna let y'all watch and let's talk about it after. So without further ado, welcome Aysia Boston. Aysia, welcome to the show. You look glowy. You look
Thank
ready
you
to
for
go. You
having
look like
me.
you're ready to spill the tea. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm so good. Thank you so much for coming on. I just want to get right into it because I have so many questions for you. My first question for you is just how would you describe yourself? I'm very curious because we didn't know each other before. Like, what makes Aysia Aysia?
Honestly, if you ask me, I would say I'm pretty chill.
Period.
Pretty chill, straightforward, to the point. Not so much in your face because I don't want to be in anybody's face, really. But yeah, I feel like if you ask somebody else, they might say like, maybe I'm a little mean, maybe, I could come off that way. When people are not able to handle you being straightforward, they'll be like, oh, she's mean. And it's not even that I'm mean. I don't want to be bothered. And I don't want to be bothered by nonsense. That's it. That's all it is. It's very simple.
Well, okay,
These are common sense.
Common sense is key, and it's also not that common. This actually makes sense
Yeah.
because earlier, y'all, we were talking about LA and just like the vibe of like SoCal and all this stuff. And now it makes sense as to why it's not really your vibe.
Yeah.
Directness is not really a thing that happens there.
Yeah. Directness is not a thing. I don't think manners are common. It's just, but it's like, I don't even think they know what manners are. I think that's what it is. I feel like on the East Coast or like just more East, it's normal to like, when you're in the store, you say, excuse me, like, can I get past you? Here, they will run you over. They will bulldoze you with their cart. They'll bulldoze you with their cart, their car, their body. They don't care.
They do not care.
They don't care.
They literally, have you ever spent time in like the Midwest?
No, never.
Not your vibe. Because I like have only really grown up in the Midwest. And I feel like the manners, like now I live in Chicago, but like, it's still very Midwest. And like the manners are definitely a thing, but I cannot imagine. I also feel like manners are like how I can judge your character, or let me not say judge, perceive your character is kind of based on like manners. Like when you order something at a restaurant, are you saying please? When they drop it off at your table, are you saying thank you? If you don't, I have questions about how you were raised.
Yep.
Yeah.
Literally. Like my sister, she's been out here since she was like, I don't even know, maybe like 12. But she's
Mm.
16 now. And sometimes I will even catch her and I'll be like, did you say please? Did you say thank you? Like, did you say excuse me? Like, I just be like, California's doing it to her. Like, it's normal for her. And I'm just like, that's not normal to me. It's second nature to be like, please, thank you, excuse me. Like,
Yeah, we love that. We really
yeah.
love that. We love a manner. We love a manner. I also feel like,
People don't like this.
yeah, and I feel like people are saying a lot like about Gen Z that like we're the generation without manners and like we're the rude generation. But I feel like it's us. Like, you ever see those videos on TikTok, LOL, where they're like me correcting my mom, like when she's talking to like the wait staff, or like my mom
Mhm.
sending my or her food back, and like I'm so embarrassed. Like I feel like we do have manners. So I don't know why
I
people say
do
that.
too. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, as long as we're on the same page.
Yeah.
Okay. So Asia, like, what do you do? What are you passionate about? Like, tell me more about yourself.
Okay, so first I'm in school for education. Yeah.
Period.
I'm in school for education. I took a break. I went back. My brother actually, I work for him as
Oh,
his personal assistant. Yeah. So I've been out here for 2 years, but now I'm leaving. I'm going to Charlotte to be with kids. I actually have a job in Charlotte that's gonna start in August with this group of kids. So yeah, I think that's really
that's okay. I already, my first question is I know your brother, maybe it's more of a comment. I know he's stressed about you leaving. Is he okay? Should we check on him?
it. Honestly, he's fine. I feel like everybody has asked me that, like, oh, is he gonna be okay? And I'm just like, honestly, he's more independent than like a lot of people think.
Yeah.
So it's like literally sometimes it's to the point where like he does something and then like he'll come back and tell me.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he's very independent and like he makes smart decisions.
Yeah.
Like he's still 21, but like he has his head on straight. So I feel like
Yeah.
he's fine. And like just like little stuff is like I'm still gonna be like talking to people for him if I have to. Like, yeah, I'm still
Yeah.
getting him stuff delivered on Amazon, like his toiletries, his toilet paper,
Because
just
it's
stuff like
family.
that.
Right.
Yeah. So it's just like he'll be fine.
Yeah.
If he needs me, I'll get on the phone.
Totally. Do you feel like because everyone always talks about like working with family and how it can like bring you
Mhm.
closer or like divide you. It seems like y'all are very close. Do you feel like you became closer through this process?
Obviously, all my siblings were really, really close, but I do feel like this brought us closer in a sense. And I feel like also like people can see that outward because it's like if somebody needs to talk to him, they're gonna call me. And
Right.
sometimes I just be like, why are you calling me? Like, what do you think I'm gonna do? Like it's like they want me to be that middleman almost.
Yeah.
Like just break the ice. And I don't break the ice. I wait. Like I'm just like, did you get that call? Like
As
that's
you
it. But no, I
should.
feel like it's definitely brought us closer. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's brought us closer just because like I guess I'm the one that's here like living with him, experiencing too. And like my little sister lives with us, but she's 16. So it's like, she doesn't know all the tea.
Right.
But yeah, I feel like definitely I would say yeah.
Yeah. That's amazing. That's awesome. So tell me, where did your passion for education come from? Or was it kind of something you like fell into?
Honestly, I went to school for nursing at first. I went to
Oh,
school for nursing because everybody told me I should.
okay.
That's where I messed up. That's where I
Mm.
messed up.
Girl, it happens.
Um, honestly, like maybe like 2 years in, I was in nursing class, and the teacher was just like downpouring on us. She was like, if you're not gonna do this, like you need to just leave. And
Oh.
me and my friend looked at each other and we got up and we left. And I changed my major to education. But I took like an early childhood class in high school.
Uh,
So then I was kind of like, okay. But then I kind of was on the thing of like, teachers don't make any money. Like,
mm,
that's what I was on. So like for nursing, it was kind of like, I'm gonna make the money.
right.
But then I kind of was just like, let me do what I want to do. And then after I switched my major, I went to work at a daycare.
No.
And when I worked at that daycare, I fell in love. I did.
Oh,
I fell in love with my kids. So basically there. And from there it kind of like bloomed into the own idea of like I want to own my own daycare one day.
wow.
So like yeah, so like nothing at all to do with sports. I kind of just fell into this job. Like
Mm,
I kind of just fell into it. It
yeah.
was more so also now looking back on it because like this year, like I got a therapist last year. Like it was just a
Yeah.
lot going on. So I feel like for this, it kind of was like me moving to Charlotte and me transitioning. This is kind of like for me, like, and it's kind of like this might be like the first thing that I've actually done, like solely for me, not based on like anybody's opinion. I came up with it on my own. I figured it all out and I'm doing it. Okay. Yeah. And it's
Yes.
just like, yeah, it's more in line with what I want to do. I want to work with kids. So I'm working
Mm.
with these kids. And then in a few years, hopefully, I'm gonna open up my daycare. And that's really it. Cause I'm just like, yeah, because a lot of people like throw ideas at me. Like even my brother's throwing ideas at me, like, like, why don't you do like something like sports marketing or like something like
Mm.
that? And like sports is just not my vibe. Like
At
I
all.
go to the games. I know what's going on in basketball. Don't know what's going on in football. Lord. But it's funny because like my brother's like, well, you know these athletes because my best friend, he plays for the Packers.
Oh, cool.
So they're like, he's like, oh, you know all these athletes, so you can just do it. And I'm like, that probably would be an easy route to go, but it's just not something that I want to do personally.
Mm.
And yeah, I feel like people like always reach out to me and they're like, oh, like how is it in sports, being a woman in sports? And I'm like, I don't think you understand. I'm not in sports.
Right.
Like I'm not in sports. I can even tell you like I couldn't even tell you like what is going on in sports. Like
Right. I'm adjacent
nothing.
to sports.
Yeah, like that's really it. So it's like I work for my brother. I don't. It's not like I don't work for the Clippers.
Right.
I don't work for the NBA. Like I,
Right.
I don't know. I'm just, I'm just an assistant. That's literally my title, personal assistant.
Period. As you should. I do
Yeah.
feel like it's, yeah, the importance of like drawing the distinction between like, wait,
Mhm.
like not too much. But I want to go back to this idea that of like, just because you can do it doesn't mean you should. And I think
Yeah.
that's something that I'm like starting to learn as well. Like I graduated college last year and I feel
Mhm.
like you and I are probably really similar in the fact that, people tell us like we're good at multiple things. Like, okay.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh, you should try
Definitely.
this, you should try this. But it's like, that's what you want from me. And I don't think it comes from a
Mhm.
bad place at all. It's just
No.
like the boldness it takes to realize like you're living someone else's dream or you're entertaining
Mhm.
someone else's like wants for you instead of your
Yep.
own. That's like a really, really scary thing. So my question, I guess, is going back to nursing and
Mhm.
how you and your friend walked up the class. That's literally iconic. I love that. But like, was it scary for you when you were like, okay, I think I'm gonna like pivot out? Like, were you kind of afraid of like what your friends, maybe not your friends, but like your family or just like other voices would say?
Literally, it was like a panic. So like,
Yeah.
like we got up, we walked out. I think we both called our moms, and it kind of was just like, I just walked out of class. So what am I gonna do? Like,
Right.
what am I gonna do? And I think that I literally think that day is when we like submitted the change for the major. Maybe we took like 2 hours, and it kind of was just like, my mom was kind of like, "What do you want to do?" Because my
Yeah.
mom's a nurse,
Oh,
so it's like
wow.
she wasn't the one pushing it on me. She kind of was just like, do what you want to do. Like you
Yeah.
need to figure out what you want to do. But it was like my grandparents and like my dad a little bit, and just like everybody were like, nursing's where it's at. Like that's
Right.
just what people think. And it's like you're gonna come out making 6 figures, so why
Mhm.
not? And then I
Mhm.
feel like also around the time that I was going, everybody was doing nursing. Like my
Mm.
two best friends, we both all started out doing nursing. Another girl from high school, like three other girls I went to high school with, all were doing nursing. And then it's just like every class you go into, what do you do? Nursing, nursing,
Right.
nursing. And then I'm just like, are we all doing this? And then the stress comes with you find out like, oh, only 100 people get into the program, and you're like, so
Wow.
now I gotta
Right.
work
Now what?
extra hard for something I really don't want to do.
Yeah.
So I feel like it was that. And then it's also kind
Mm.
of like, honestly, like when I started therapy, like it kind of was just like an eye opener for me, as into like, cause she was just like pointing out, like, it doesn't sound like you made any of these decisions. Like it sounds like
Mm.
you kind of just going along with it. And I'm just like, you're right. Like, you're
Literally.
right.
Look, I didn't pay you to call me out like that, therapist.
Yeah.
But actually I
So
did.
it's just like, I feel like that's really what pushed me to like go into it. Like I came here, like I came into Los Angeles with the mindset that I was gonna move back east. Like I
Mm.
had no intentions of like staying here at all.
Okay.
But I feel like honestly, if I didn't have therapy, I would have stayed. Like I probably would have stayed longer.
Mm.
But I feel like honestly, it's just like I'm kind of like in this state of like I'm 24, like I'm living life. Like this is gonna be about me for just a little bit. I just feel like honestly, like I've learned like you can still help people but you got to like do for you first, then come back and help them.
Yes, because you can't pour from an empty cup.
Yeah. True.
Literally. That is so good. I feel like there's like this whole accountability piece,
Yeah.
which
Mm.
I recently started therapy. Actually, my appointment's in 2 hours. Period. She's about to wreck me today because I've been falling off. But I do feel like there's this accountability piece of like just someone asking you what appears as like a very basic question, like who made
Mm-hmm.
these decisions, you or someone else?
Yeah.
That's like it appears like a very surface level question. But once you start chipping away at it and you
Yeah.
realize the answer is not you,
Yeah.
that's like a very like alarming thing. And I know, and
Yeah.
let me know if you relate to this, but one of my biggest regrets, one of my biggest fears is living with regret. So like when I'm 70
Yeah.
years old, I don't want to be like, wow, like I'm here. I might have been like the world's definition of successful, but like, did I do what I wanted to do? And if the
Mm-hmm.
answer is
Yeah.
no, I can't turn back time.
Yeah. Definitely. I feel like honestly, like going back to like the when they ask you like, are you who's making these decisions? It's kind of like in your mind you want to say, I'm making them, like I'm
Yeah.
making these decisions. But then when you think about it, you're just like, did I make that decision or did somebody tell me and I just said okay? Like
Right.
that's kind of what it is. And it's just like that's not living. Like you're just going with the flow. You're just going with everybody's idea of what they want you to do. They're placing you where they want you to be because of what they need you to do. And it's kind of
Right.
like, what are you doing for yourself?
Right.
So
Totally.
yeah, I think that's what got me out the door.
Yeah. No, that's so good. I think, especially like in our positions, like we have brothers in a spotlight playing
Mhm.
basketball at the highest level. There is a lot of like people pushing like sports onto you or people
Mhm.
pushing business onto you or working with
Yeah,
him or working, and it's
yeah.
like, I just wish that one, the people would keep their opinions to themselves, especially when they're
Yep.
unwarranted. That's number
Mhm.
one. But
But the
number
thing is,
two,
it never comes from your brother. It never comes from your brother. Literally, when I told my brother, he was literally the conversation was 5 minutes. He goes, "Okay, I support you. I support you in anything you want to do." And I'm just like, that was much easier than I thought it would be. Like it was literally a 5 minute conversation, and like you hear everybody else is going, "We should," and he's just like, "Okay,
because they don't care. They want what's
yeah."
best for you. I mean, like any family member would. I think because people attach them with like a level of fame, I don't know, they
Mhm.
assume
Success.
exactly.
They
Exactly.
feel like
But
you need
it's
them to be successful.
exactly, but it's like literally
Mhm.
not even that. And I guess my whole thing is too, people, I keep saying people, but society, I think basketball
Yeah.
fans, all this stuff, like in their minds, success is like you attaching yourself to them, or it's like you with money, or you with
Mhm.
I don't know, like a fan base or all these things. And it's like
Yeah.
so many people don't want that, especially like, tell me how you feel about this. I think there's something about seeing someone you love with fame, seeing all the stuff they have to go through every day, the
Mhm.
comments and like the torment and all those things. And I think there's something to be said about like a lot of people choosing, oh, I don't want that kind of life because I see, what they go through,
Yeah. Yeah, I don't want it because the difference with me is if somebody like is under my picture talking about oh, you suck, you should have did this,
We're
I'm
fighting.
gonna say, excuse me, like it might be an old joke, but I'm saying, yo mama, like leave me alone. Like like I'm sorry, I'm coming back. Like I'm saying
Right.
something. And that's the problem. Like they're literally in a position where like it's tough. Like, do you speak on it or do you not give it any attention? And me, I can't do that. And then also like the not knowing if I feel like maybe you feel like that too, but it's like you don't know if people are genuine. And it's like you already feel it as a sibling. I can only imagine actually having the fame and having to be like, is this person like genuine or is this person like trying to take advantage of me? Like, I don't want to deal with that. And also, yeah, my mouth is just a little too reckless to be any type of successful. Even when he was in high school, like I was literally like one time I even argued with the dad. I argued with the dad and his son. And it was girl, it was crazy. Like literally
And the
the son
sun.
was sitting next to me. The son was sitting next to me. And we were talking. Like I was like, oh, this is cool. Like, nice little powwow. Then I'm sitting next to this family. They knew who my brother was.
Yeah.
And because he went to Sierra Canyons, like it was like a big school, there was a lot of
Right.
cameras, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
So then all of a sudden, the little boy next to me turns around and goes, "Number 3 sucks."
Ooh.
And I said, I was like, I literally looked around like,
I know you're not talking to me.
Who is he talking about? I'm looking on the court, like, maybe he's talking about the other team. So then the dad goes, grown man. Yeah, he ain't nothing but a crybaby. He ain't nothing but a crybaby. And I was like, I turned around, I said, is he crying? I said, I don't think he's crying. I said, I don't see him crying. And then me and the dad are going back and forth, back and forth. And I looked at the son. I said, do you play basketball? He said, yeah. I said, well, I think you suck.
Oh,
And then he got up and left. I'm sorry. I can't do it.
Let him know. And you know, that is a core memory for that little boy. And it should be.
Yeah.
You can't be
that's what
talking
I'm saying. How do you talk about people that you don't know? And then also it's kind of like the people that are just like, oh, they need to do this, they need to do that. And I'm like, okay, so how about you get up and go show them how to do it since you know how to do it so correct.
Since you know everything.
Get up and show them. Like, since you know everything. That's what it is for me. I don't think I could live that life.
Yeah.
And for them, I just feel like they're strong. Like, they have to be mentally strong. They have to be able to brush it off. Yep. Like, it's just a lot when you have literally millions of people just telling you what you should do, what you shouldn't do. Oh, this is tacky. Oh, he's a crybaby. Oh, he's needy. Oh, he's this, he's that. He's dramatic. And I'm just like, how do you say all this about somebody you don't know?
You literally have no idea who they are. And especially at games. I'm glad you mentioned that because I feel like at games, this is going to sound a certain way, but I feel like you'll understand. If I am not in like the family section or like the family and friends section, I'm not going. And the reason for that isn't like, oh, I need to be behind it's not that at all. It's that no one around me is going to, we're probably talking about our outfits. We're probably talking about stuff on our films. Like, we're not actually talking about like criticizing players. When you sit somewhere else, oh my gosh, like y'all, I think people get so confused when like, you see videos like KD or like so many players that like yell back at a fan and people are like, well, they should expect this, blah, blah, blah. You're telling me you go to your job and you should be expected to be tormented by people you don't know? That's not fair.
It's a part of the game.
Literally. Yeah. Shut up and dribble.
Yeah. Literally. Like I can't. Like, I think I went to one away game in Atlanta because like our whole family went. And they have like this little section. And I feel like they put the teams over there like for the tournaments. And it's just like this one little fan section. And like they were being funny, but like, some stuff is just, it's not funny. Like, and especially like as a family member and as a sister, like you're gonna take it personally. Like
every time.
Like, and I took that personally. Like really. Like like literally, we're sitting there and I think he got in that night. And they're like, oh, you need to go back to the G League. And we were like, everybody turned around and I was like, who needs to go to, like, excuse me? Like, and then when it's me and my older sister, like, it's just not a good combination. Like, it's just not a good combination. So it's just like, let's just keep the hate to a minimum. Let's just keep it to a minimum. But people don't know how to do that. They don't.
They have no clue. I was at a game in Memphis. This is like last year, I think. This is so funny. So I was at a game in Memphis. I brought two of my friends and we're like, having a good little time, kikiing, whatever. And like the fans were going crazy. Like they were yelling at the boy and we were like right behind the bench or the bench. And they're yelling at him and like, oh my gosh, it's crazy. Now for me, I did not take it personally because I was like, my brother wasn't playing that night. He was sitting out, whatever. So I'm just kind of laughing. I'm like, oh, this is really annoying, but like whatever. So I then go up. I don't know if it was halftime. I can't remember, but like something happened where there was a break and I went on the court to go talk to my brother. I was talking to one of my friends who worked for the team. I hug my brother. I sit down. Girl, when I get back to my seat, there's a line of kids with posters and pens talking about, can we have a signature? For me? Oh, I'm about to be a star? Yeah, period, for me. But no, they were asking about him. They were blah, 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 until they saw that we were related. And all of a sudden it was, oh, I love your brother, blah, 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 blah. That is trifling. And that is so clout chasey. And that's why I was just like, no, you can't have nothing. And then like during the game, you notice like pictures are being taken of you, all this. I was like, y'all are so ridiculous. It just shows that people want attention from fame.
Yeah, of course.
It was so trifling. I was like, if y'all don't sit down
and they change the tune.
Change the tune real. I mean, like when I tell you Aysia, a line of kids with pens. I said, where'd y'all even come from?
No. They were like, go to her. She'll get you in. go to her.
Literally, and it's
Yeah.
literally the
No,
parents
even
are like,
like,
go, go.
yeah, I don't like the I don't even I like check my DM like occasionally like the requests.
Yeah.
And it'll be like, do you think you could? And I'm like, no, I can't. Like, what do
Don't
you
even
want me
read
to
the
do?
rest of
Like,
the message.
it's like they want, like, I don't even know what they want. Like, it's just like, you think you could get Brandon to sign something for me? No, I can't. I can't.
I
No.
hate that. It
Show
drives
up.
me
Like, show up
insane.
somewhere and then maybe you can get something signed. If not, try again next time.
Literally, I just don't know why people think they're the only one asking that.
Yeah. No,
Like,
of
there's 10
course.
of y'all in my DMs after any given game. So yes, actually, yeah, for sure. Like, and it's not, it honestly puts the family, puts the friends, puts whoever knows them in a really awkward position, because then
Mhm.
it's like, I try to be very like cognizant of when I'm at games or like around the team, like whatever, like stuff you do is a reflection of your family, right? So I
Of
try to
course.
be very cognizant of like, okay, like if you say no, how does that look back? But at a certain
Mhm.
point, it's like you're being trifling. Like, no, sorry,
Yeah. Yeah, no, honestly, I don't even speak to people. I just keep pushing.
mind
My
your
mouth's
business.
closed. Yeah. So yeah, I'm usually off to the side. That's it. I've I haven't even made one single friend here. I made one friend and it really just didn't work out. Like
Yeah,
it kind of fell through. And I think for me also it's like it's because I'm the sister, like it's different because I feel like I live with him and I live in LA.
yeah,
Um like I was friends with somebody's girlfriend
mm,
and it was just a different dynamic. Like she was very nice. We it was very good.
yeah,
But it was just like some things I just couldn't relate to because I'm like, well, this is my brother, not my boyfriend. So
right,
it's like we this is a very different dynamic. Like
absolutely.
two polar opposites. There's nothing I can't help you. Like that was me. It's just kind of like the advice that you need, I can't help you.
A
And I feel like that's
thousand
why I
percent.
haven't made friends because it's just like I'm just really
Mm,
not into it. And then I
yeah,
had a friend. I did. I had a friend I went to high school with that lived here, but it turned very, very like we're gonna do all this and this and this and this and this together. And I was like, what are
who?
we gonna do together? Like, whoa, like we've never been that close. But
Yeah,
and I kind of had to like distance myself because I was like, if that's what's gonna be happening, I'm good on that.
right. You
Yeah.
can't participate. So
Mm-mm.
I guess on the topic of friendships, do you feel like it's kind of been that way your whole life, or it was amplified when you got to LA? Like, is there a world where you can just show up as Aysia Boston without being Brandon's sister?
Honestly, it's actually funny because we went to separate schools. Like we're
Hmm.
3 years apart, but we went to like different schools. Like, we've never in elementary school we're in the same school,
Right.
but like middle school, like he went to a different school, I went to a different school, and it's funny because I don't think I realized maybe until high school how many people actually knew him, and
Mm.
then like they would come to my house and they'd be like, "Brandon Boston's your brother," and I'm like,
My brother
"Yeah,
Brandon, yeah.
yeah," like I'm like, yeah, like what? Like what's the big deal? Like
Right,
that's
right.
what it is to me. And I feel like people don't understand that and they'll be like, what do you mean? Like what's the big deal? Like that's a big deal. So honestly, growing up, I think it was pretty much regular because a lot of people just didn't know. Like my friends, they just were regular. And
Mm.
then I feel like it amplified when I got to LA. Like when I was just thinking about this. I caught myself literally going around the room. I'm BJ's sister. I'm BJ's sister. Like that's
Wow.
literally like in the room with people, and it's just like they all know who he is. So if I just say who I am, they're not really gonna know. So it's like,
Mm.
yeah, I just find myself being like, oh yeah, I'm Brandon's sister. Like that's really
Mm.
what it is. So no, but
Yeah.
growing up, I regular, everything was regular. Yeah, until we were like, oh, that's your brother, and I'm just like, yeah, that's my
Yeah.
brother. Like,
Like, that's your brother? Like, okay, cool. Like,
yeah.
it's your brother. That's so interesting you say that. That's literally how I got the idea for the show. Was I was so one of my friends who is a sibling of one of my brother's teammates, she was
Mhm.
introducing me to her friend. And she was like, "Oh, this is my friend Jordan." And I was like, "Oh, hey, I'm Dre's sister," because we were at his wedding. So I was like,
Mhm.
just trying to
Oh.
level set. Yeah. And I was like, oh, I'm Dre's sister. And she was like, you don't have to do that. She's like, I do that all the time, but we're just us. Like, I'm me, you're just Jordan. Like,
Oh, I
and that's
like
okay.
that.
And it was so validating. It was so
Yeah.
validating because I clearly do not go around saying I'm Dre's sister, but in that
Yeah.
context, I felt like I had to. But it was
Yeah.
just such a good
But when you're in
reminder.
that room, you do. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. But she just validated me so much in that moment. She's like, I don't care where you are, like you are you. And it was just like,
Mhm.
oh, like I just love that's why this world, like, and now we have like this friendship too. Like they really mean so much because people
Yeah.
really understand.
Yeah. Definitely. And I feel like honestly, from a sibling standpoint, like I think you're the first sibling that I've actually like
Mm,
connected with.
period.
But it's just like it feels like when you're in a room like with people that only know them, you're kind of like, I feel small. Like you
Wow.
feel small in the room. So it's like if you tell them, "Oh, I'm so and so's sister,"
Mm.
you know, you take up a little bit more space. That's how
Wow.
it feels mentally. Like that's literally how it feels.
Ooh, that's a word,
Yeah.
Asia. That's such a word. You went crazy. That's so true.
God.
It's so
Yeah.
true. And to your point from earlier, like that's what really blows me about this whole concept is it's never our brothers making us feel small. It's never them.
No.
It's literally
Never.
just the perceptions of other people. And I think it's
Yep.
really easy. Like someone might be watching this right now and they're like, they might be thinking like, oh, well, just don't care about their perception. But I think it's
Yeah.
until you like, I feel like you and I are both pretty similar. We just live our lives. But in those
Yeah.
specific contexts, like I feel like you really just have to experience like the smallness and just the like
Hmm.
I don't know. It is a really really weird dynamic. I don't even know how to put into words, but you're right.
Hmm.
By attaching yourself, it's kind of like I'm not small, like, I'm related to this or like this is my
Yeah.
brother, but it's just like
Yep.
I shouldn't even feel like I have to do that, you
Yeah.
know? It's awful. It's so hard sometimes.
But it's literally just the point of feeling like, okay, I'm in this room surrounded by like I don't want to say his people, but I guess like if you
Yeah,
go to like a function that's like for him, you're just kind of like, these
exactly.
people are like, you don't want people like I feel like mentally you trick yourself and you're like, they're probably looking at me like, what is she doing here? Like, who is she?
Yeah.
Like so it's just a natural to be like, oh, I'm so and so's sister. Like that's why I'm here. That's who I am.
You're so right. It is the natural next thing. And it's weird for me because I feel like I'm like such a big personality. Like I want to be like
Hmm.
the next Oprah. Like that's just like my thing, right?
Yeah.
And it's just crazy how even like the biggest of personalities can feel so tiny in
So
that
yeah.
moment. Yeah, 1,000. That is such a interesting observation, and you're absolutely right. Do you
Yeah.
feel like when you were like it doesn't seem to me like you ever felt like he made you feel like he was like you were in his shadow, like by any means.
No, I feel like no. First of all, I don't want to say because he's younger than me, but it's kind of just like we just
Mm,
don't have. That's just not even the dynamic that like we have. It's kind of just like BJ is who he is. Like he's in the
totally.
NBA. He's a star in his own
Yeah.
reserve. Like I'm living my life. Like I'm fine. Like, but
Yeah.
like the thing is though, even if it was like I didn't want to say like a shadow thing, like it's a bad thing, but it's kind of just like I don't want the spotlight. That's
Yeah.
not something I want. Like when I was first coming out here, they were preparing for the draft
Mm.
and they were shooting like a Clutch Academy. I don't know if you've seen that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So yeah, so they did the Clutch Academy and they were like, oh, you're gonna be on it. And I kind of was like, oh.
Did I consent?
I was like, oh, okay. But it's just like for that, like I don't know how they do it, like with
Mm,
the cameras and the everything. Like it's like you have to be so composed. And for me, I kind of just want to like do what I want to do. Like
right.
if I want to show up with my hair like in a messy bun, I
However,
don't want to have to. I don't want to have to be like, oh, I'm gonna be on camera. Like let me make sure like everything's good. Like I want to show up how I want to show up. And I think
mm,
that's the thing. But when I was on it, like it was a good experience. Let's say it got me out of my shell.
yeah,
But I probably wouldn't do something like that again. Like
right,
that's just me. Like it was
right.
nice. Like and then also it's like oh, everybody, oh, I seen you on the episode. Da, 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 da. And I'm just like, let's just let it be. And I don't like I honestly don't like looking back and like seeing myself on video and hearing my voice.
Yeah.
Like for me, I feel like it's just such an out of body experience. I'm like, nope.
Literally me. I had to get over that
Yeah.
quickly for the show. I was like, okay, I hate this, but I have to edit it, so I have to see it. No, that's literally such a real thing. And I do think that's something I try to be very like aware of with this show too, is like I want to give all my guests like the platform to speak about themselves and like how they were influenced growing up and things like that. But like not everyone wants that. Like not everyone wants to have, you know, that share of voice in such a way. And like I think everyone needs to like respect that and realize that that's just as successful or that's just as okay. Like it's fine, you know? Yeah.
I think it's just the fact that people, I don't know, like how like people overstep in people's life. That's really what it is. They overstep a lot and it's like they feel entitled, like, well, you have to share, like, come on. Like
Totally.
it's like they get a kick out of it.
Totally.
So I feel like that's what it is.
Okay, have you seen the show Swarm?
No.
Do you know what I'm talking about? Okay.
I've seen the trailers, like little clips, yeah.
Same. I haven't actually seen the show, but basically, y'all, Swarm is this new show on Amazon Prime. And from what I gather, correct me if I'm wrong, Asia, from what you've seen, but I'm pretty sure it's like all about this like super fan. Some people say it's like mocking Beyonce, which don't touch her, but it's like all about like this super fan and how she like has made it like she feels like she knows the girl she's like standing. I don't even know. All this to say, it kind of brings me to this point of like parasocial relationships and how because of the internet and because of like there's so much access, like even what you were saying with like Clutch Academy, right? Like it was to give viewers an inside look in their lives, which is great and it makes people relate. But what I'm learning is people can over relate and that's how they overstep. They feel like they know our brothers. They feel like they know us because of something they see or read on the internet. And I feel like that's like very, very dangerous. I hear people like, even since I started the show, like people will DM me, like people will DM me stuff about me or like the college I went to, like, oh, I know you did this. I know I did this too. Like they were talking about, like, I got a DM about me doing like my commencement speech at IU. And someone literally DM'd me, they're like, oh, I know you did this speech and sent me the link. Everyone knows I did that. Like,
I know. Look,
yeah, like I was there.
Not a secret.
Yeah, it wasn't a secret. But I feel like people were like, oh, like because I now put my life out there in a way that I haven't really before. It's like, I don't know if people feel like they can step more into that access. And it's just a very strange thing. Yeah.
That's probably what they think though. They always think if you're putting it out there.
Like
Let me just dive a little deeper.
Exactly. But it's like I'm giving you enough to what I'm comfortable putting out.
Yeah.
You don't need to overstep. Wow, this is therapy. This is really therapy. So I guess I feel like you have a really good grasp on like what you want and what you don't want. And like, obviously that changes over time, but like for right now, you seem very secure in it. What is like some advice that you would give any listener just kind of struggling to figure out what it is they want and how to just kind of claim their own path in a way that's, you know, central to them?
Honestly, my number one would be like, if you can, get a therapist.
And it's that simple.
Because I feel like it's so hard, like when you are by yourself trying to battle like what everybody is saying to you, what everybody else wants you to do, and then trying to figure out what you want to do. And it's much easier to like hear it from somebody who has no association. Like I feel like that's what it was for me. Like it was like an outside voice with a reason. Like not just anybody, not your homeboy. Like just like it was so much better. And it was just kind of like somebody who could see the whole floor.
Yes.
And then it's just like, well, is that what's best for you? Yes. So it's kind of like that. And it's just like, I feel like if you're struggling with it, just get the help. Or if you feel like you're questioning something like, oh, should I do this? Try it and see how it goes. Because I feel like I'm very grateful like for this experience. And like, I'm very glad that I came to LA so that I could experience it. Like, it's not a bad situation. It's just not the situation for me.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I feel like that's what it is. Like, it's lovely. Like, sunshine.
Period.
Getting cool. Like, warm weather. The food is decent. Like,
decent.
It's okay. Like, it's good, but just because it's good, you don't have to stay in it. Like that's
Yeah.
just how I feel. Like it's just not for me. And I feel like a lot of people need to just figure out like, is it good? Am I just like, I'm feeling it, but is it for me? Like,
Right.
and I feel like that's what it is. Like you have to figure out what's for you, whether that's getting a therapist or trying to figure it out yourself. I feel like you should
Right.
get a therapist. But hey. Do what's in with reason. I didn't even think
Yes.
of the idea. Do what is capable. What you're capable.
Yes. Right. And I love how you said, like, not your homeboy, get someone with a license.
Yeah, get somebody professional. Because that's the thing though, like even if you talk to somebody close to you, yes, they may give you good advice,
Right.
but there's always going to be a little bias and just a little bit of what they want you to do, a little
Right.
bit of what you've told them before. Like it's just like get somebody with no connection. Like yeah, that's
Literally,
what it
it's
is.
true. Like, keep it
Yeah,
very professional.
yeah.
I completely agree. Oh, Asia, I cannot thank you enough. This was like a deep sigh of a conversation. And truly, like, anytime somebody's irritating you or getting on your nerves or whatever,
Yeah.
girl, I'm one text away because I know how it be. But I hope you had fun because I learned so much from you.
Yeah, I did too.
Amazing. All right, everyone. We will see you soon. Mwah. Bye. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I might tell you a joke, but I'll never tell y'all a lie. Shout out Aysia for real. Y'all, so remember before Aysia came on, I was giving y'all a little sneak peek into the episode and I was like, oh my gosh, she like spoke a word. What I found so insightful was this piece about feeling small, right? Y'all know me. Like, there's nothing about my personality that screams small. Even if you don't know me, you can probably tell that at this point. But I think that is something that doesn't get talked about enough and that we haven't even talked a lot about on the show. So I'm so glad she brought it up. But just this fact that when you're in the room and you're, with your family's people, there's a tendency to just naturally feel minimized. And it's not by, the brother. It's never by our brothers. It's always just by people's perception, like what we talked about. And just all the expectations and everything that comes with it. And just how you feel like you have to shrink yourself down. And it's really, really like that's deep. And that's a different level of vulnerability. So I'm so glad Aysia brought that up because I don't know. I just like want us all to think about that a little bit more. Where are areas in your life where you feel the smallest, where you feel the most unseen maybe, where you feel maybe a little more vulnerable than you would like to? And like, how can we fix that? Like, is that a thing that you need to correct on your end? Or is it, just the vibe of the room or the people in the room where you feel like they're putting that pressure and expectation on you? So I don't know. I don't have the answer. I'm not here for answers. I'm not a teacher. I'm here to ask the questions. So I don't know. I think that's a theme we'll be exploring a little bit more as we keep going. But another interview down. Aysia, thank you again, girl, for coming on. You're the best. And yeah, y'all, I cannot wait to see all she does. What? The patience to work with kids and not only work with kids, but aspire to just own your own daycare. So inspiring. I just feel like the vibe I got from her was just very like generous, very helpful, very kind, and we need more people like that in the world. So thank you, Aysia. Thank you all of you for watching. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, whatever that means, but I know I'm supposed to say it. So thank you all so much for the support. I will see you so soon. Mwah. Cheers to you. Are you like a avid TikTok consumer or do you have like some common sense? Like, do you know when to get off the app?
I have no common sense and no control when it comes to TikTok. No, I'm literally scrolling. Like I'm scrolling to the point where it's like, I seen this a few hours ago. Like I seen that already.